Agreed to, and I call the member for Higgins.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. Now, I'm no expert on animal husbandry, but like my colleagues and my constituents, I am highly exercised on the topic of animal welfare. And far from being an activist agenda, the people who actually approach me in my community on this topic are ordinary Australians. They are studying or they're working, they may be raising children, or indeed paying their taxes. All of these people are highly concerned about animal cruelty and animal welfare because they want to ensure that the animal products that they source are humanely delivered. And they are also concerned around the social licence for this industry, the live animal export trade. And I cannot lie that I too am fairly queasy about this industry. I've been a long-time supporter of Animals Australia, and I just want to ensure that this industry actually continues to operate because it is commercially important for Australia. It amounts to $1.3 billion in trade, and that's nothing to be sniffed at, and it certainly supports the lives of many people in the regions in particular. But I think it's really important that as a government and as a parliament we safeguard this industry with adequate controls. And this was sorely tested back in 2018 around the Awasi Express disaster when that came to light. It was absolutely horrific, and all of us have been touched by that, and certainly those images are seared onto our national psyche. So I'm proud to be part of a government that has committed to phasing out the live sheep export trade. And I know there are many members of this parliament and in the community who want to see us go further. However, I think this is a really positive first step. This trade has been on the decline. It amounts to around 82 million of a much larger export trade. And in March of this year, the government committed to installing an independent panel of experts to now consult with industry and other stakeholders as to how this phase-out will occur, but we have indeed committed to that. The amendments put forward are also welcome because they expand on our agenda on how to ensure the viability of this industry going forward by strengthening safeguards around animal welfare. And that happens, initially it's emphasised by the change of the name with the insertion of the word animal welfare. So we go from calling the Inspector General of Live Animal Exports to the Inspector General of Animal Welfare and Live Exports. So there's an explicit name change with the insertion of animal welfare. And I think that's really, really important because language matters. It directs how we actually operate. There are also additional objectives that are focused on animal welfare in the bill, which are designed to monitor, investigate and report on how the Commonwealth implements improvements to animal welfare in the live export trade. We want to see and promote a culture of continuous improvement in the practice and performance of the live export trade and provide an additional layer of accountability over the regulation of the live export trade. We want to ensure that animal welfare is explicitly taken into account by live export officials, and all of these amendments are incorporated in this bill. For the first time, the Inspector General will provide independent oversight specific to animal welfare. The focus will be on strengthening activities, systems, standards and reporting to help us achieve positive animal welfare outcomes. The bill requires the Inspector General to prepare and publish an annual work plan each year, including the details and the timing of the reviews, priorities and outcomes relating to this program of work. And this work will be published on the website for all to see. So there is a degree of transparency there, and it will also enable industry and stakeholders to plan ahead. The independence of the Inspector General will be put beyond doubt with this bill. Certainly the Inspector General will be operating at arm's length from the government and the Minister of the day. The Minister can, however, direct the Inspector General to focus on particular areas of concern, and that will continue. So I'm pleased to see that we are advancing the agenda around strengthening safeguards around animal cruelty, because ultimately not only does this speak to our core values as Australians, we are nature lovers, we care deeply about not only each other but the natural world and the animals encompassed in that world, but we want to ensure that the viability of this industry is protected going forward. It's important that this industry meets community expectations, because it's those community expectations that provide the social license for this industry to operate. And it is important that we maintain our clean, green agricultural credentials going forward, because this is, in addition, a huge value add to our nation. So I commend this bill to the House.
I thank the member.